Hello everybody, it's Crafty Carol here with another little project for you. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator from Northern Ireland, and if you haven't noticed, by the way, I'm starting to do Facebook Lives, so do try and check up on those as well. Bit of a test, see how they go. But for today's video, it's Valentine's Day next week. If you're watching this is February 2023, and I just wanted to show you some ideas which I have shamelessly cribbed and cased from some other demonstrators. The first one is this really simple little heart flower, which is made with some retired punches actually, but you could use dies, heart dies that are available, or cut them out yourself, whatever you want. But the idea is very simple, and I can't remember who it was. I think it was Jeannie Stark, so apologies if I have got that wrong, but I think it was Jeannie Stark in the US that showed this as an idea. So we're going to make one of those, and they just very simply, as you can see with these ones, they just will slot into a little chocolate. These are for my husband. He's doing well this Valentine's Day. So I'm going to show you how I make those little heart things. Stick them up there for now. And the other little projects I'm going to show you is this. It's a lovely little heart-shaped box with the heart sort of stuck together there, and then a little box that's got a sweet in. And then I just decorated it with a flower I'm using the, what is it called? Country Bouquet set with the punch, and this sentiment is from that set. So without further ado, let's show you what you need for this. So as I said, the heart flowers, if we start with those, I use these retired punches. They came as a duo, so you've got a plain punch and a scalloped edge, slightly larger punch. And I'm using the lovely papers from the Country Floral Lane suite. You get these beautiful gingham papers, which have petal pink and poppy parade one side, and Barney blue and mint macaron the other. So beautiful papers, and they match the larger set of papers that you get in the same suite, the Country Floral Lane papers. And this one actually punches out with a punch. How good is that? Again, double-sided, same colours. They're just beautiful, beautiful papers. Lovely heart one. I might have done that poppy parade one, quite like that one, but I'm not. So there we go. Just a quick look at those. You can see them in the catalogue. Ask me if you need a catalogue. So I'm just using the punch, and you can use either side of the papers really, and the fact they're double-sided is brilliant. So I think I'll make another one with these. So we've got hearts on this side. Need them to be roughly the right way up, I think, with my punch. So I'm just going, those aren't really the right way up, are they? Perhaps they're not. Perhaps not. That one's better. So we'll punch there, I think, and get those hearts with the flowers. So that's my plain one punched out, or as I say, you could cut them out. Best way to cut hearts, just a little bit of a tip here. I got some scrap paper I can just show you with. I'll just use this little bit of, where are we? Let me just use this strip for now. If you fold, yeah, which way does it need to be folded? No, it needs to be folded the other way. That strip's no good. Let me get some paper, I must have some somewhere. I use this little bit of craft paper. If you fold it in half and then cut out a heart shape, so we'll just come around, so you're cutting out like half a heart. Just doing this really quickly. But if you fold it in half down there, you've got a perfectly balanced heart. It's going to be symmetrical. So just if you wanted to cut your own hearts, that is the way to do it. Just a little sideline there, but luckily I've got this punch. And then I'm going to use the scallop punch, and again you could just use, if you've cut your heart out like that and you wanted to do a bigger one, why not use it as a template, and then you can cut round slightly bigger, and that will give you your bigger heart to make a double layer if you haven't got these punches. So I'm just going to punch out wherever I've got some space on this sheet, not to waste any, but equally to get the lines roughly diagonal if I'm going to do that. There we go. I've got the two sides, and I can have it whichever way I want really. I think this time I might well stick that to that. So the other things I've made is a little stem, and I've used what I've done is cut just, I think it's a couple of inches. Should have measured these and know exactly. That's 2¼ inches. It's just a scrap I had. And if I show you how I did it, what I did was I wanted it 1/2 centimetre. So it's not very big, only that. And I decided to do it double. So I cut at 1 and scored at 1/2. But the easy way to do it is actually score first. So score at 1/2, and then I would score at 1½ if I did this whole strip again, 1½ and 2½, and then you can cut on the exact one. So cut at 1, and that gives you your strip that you can then fold and make into your stem, just like that. Okay, so that's how I did the stems. I just felt it needed something that was a little bit stronger than just the single one. Let me use this one I've just done. So then we can just put a little bit of glue down the centre. Be careful, don't put too much glue down the centre. Guess how I know? Because it squeezes out. You do want it to come along each side, and actually I'm going to be messy. If I use my finger just to spread it, it will spread enough just to stick this together. So I found you have to hold it for a little bit to make sure it was properly stuck. There we go. If you put too much on and squeeze, it actually squeezes out. And guess how I knew that too? Because I put too much on the first ones I did. So you see how it doesn't need very much, and that just sticks together the stem. So for the leaves, I use the Country Bouquet Punch, and I just punch the leaves out of a strip of green card. I've already punched them. If I can pick them up, I have already punched them. So I've got a couple of leaves that I've just punched out, and all I did then was stick them onto the stem. So I'm just going to stick them onto that side, I think. Just put a little bit of glue somewhere near the bottom of the stem, but not quite at the bottom. And then if you want to, you can just shape the leaves slightly by just gently rolling them around your finger. Just gives the leaf a little bit of shape. So I'll put the first one up there, and the second one, just roll that as well. And we'll put that one just below. So there are my leaves, or on my stem. You could have them whichever way around, I suppose. I think I prefer it with seeing the leaves on the front of the stem, actually. Right, and then we just need to put it together with our heart. So I want that bit at the front, so I want to put the glue on the back. So I'm going to put the glue on the back of the non-scalloped heart, and then to stick it together we go background heart, stem just coming up from the bottom like that, and then stick this on the top. So I hope that's fairly obvious. Then I can press it down and it will stick the stem into the heart flower. And there I have my little heart, which can either be used as a table decoration. As I say, I've just stuck them behind these sweets for husband, but that is an easy way to make some really quick and easy little heart flowers. So I hope you enjoyed that little project, just a little tiny thing ready for Valentine's Day. So the second project I've got to show you today is this heart, and this is so simple to make. This is from Jean Dunn, who's just shown it again on our demonstrator place, and it's just beautiful, and I've copied hers almost exactly. I've just done a different decoration on the top. So for that we need a strip of paper. I've just used the strip of A4. I think she cut it down a little bit and made it a bit smaller. You could make it slightly smaller. I think she made it 1 inch smaller. I'm just going to use the whole paper again because I quite liked it. And when you've got your paper, you're just going to fold it in half and make sure that crease is really well creased up. And then to make the heart shape, and this really couldn't be simpler. I couldn't believe how simple this was to do. We're just going to stick these bits together here. So if I just put some glue on that, I found putting roughly 1 inch, put glue up roughly 1 inch. You could use tape. I just found glue worked fine. And then we're going to form the heart shape by bringing that side in, bringing the other side in, and simply sticking them together. So I'm just going to make sure my ends are together and that it's parallel, and then I'm just going to squeeze those ends together. Hold it for a minute because it is Tombow, and Tombow always needs that little bit longer just to make sure it's sticking properly. There we go. And there we have the lovely heart shape. So to make the box that goes in the centre to hold the sweet, you need a piece of card which is 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches. We're going to work in inches for this one. And once we've got that cut, it's just a little square, 2.5 by 2.5. We're going to score it at 5/8. Now 5/8 of an inch, you've got your inch marker here, your 1/2 inch marker there. 5/8 is 6 of these, 2, 4, 6, no, it should be 10 actually. Anyway, it's the little ones, it's the next to the center one, if you like. 5/8, 6, 7 and 8/8, of course. So 5/8 is there. So we're going to put if I'm scoring very narrow bits and using my trimmer, I always use the right hand side of the trimmer because it's much easier than trying to get the card straight the other side, because I can use this to make sure my card stays parallel. So I'm moving it to the 5/8 marker and score. And then we're going to do that on all 4 sides, out to the 5/8 marker and score. And again, 5/8 and score. And the final side, 5/8 and score. And that's all there is to it. So then I'm going to make it just like we'd make any box. So we want to make these bits into tabs to fold, to stick. So I'm going to cut up to the first score line and then cut out a little wedge. And I'm going to cut out a little tiny wedge on the other side as well. That's the first one. Going to do that on all 4 sides. So cut up to my line and wedge. It's the second one. Third one, cut up to my line and wedge. And the final one, cut up to the line and just take out that little wedge. Taking out the wedge just means that the sides of your box, it's much easier to get them parallel, get them square. So once we've done that, I'm just going to crease all of the folds. And honestly, with these small boxes, just doing it by hand is fine. You don't need to do it using your bone folder. And then I'm actually going to use fast fuse or stamp and seal. I'm still using up my fast fuse, but stamp and seal for the new stuff. And I'm just going to put a little bit on each of the tabs. And then when I fold it in, very carefully, making sure I'm lining up the corners. I've shown you that before. So just making sure each of the corners line up properly. And I'm sticking the tabs to the inside of this little box. So again, making sure it's folded up neatly to the corners. And there is the little box. How easy is that? I've got little bits of card everywhere. Let me just get rid of these before I spread them all around the room. There we go. So there's my little box, and then we're just going to stick it inside the heart, and we want to put glue on the bottom and on one of the sides. Doesn't matter at all which one. So on the bottom, one of the sides, and then it's going to just stick against the side of the heart. That's why we want it on one of the sides and on the bottom. So just hold that for a second to make sure it's stuck. And that does 2 things. It gives you the box to put your sweet in. Let me just get another of the sweets to put in. What should we put in? One of those. I could have just given her in a box of chocolates, of course, but it's much more fun to make little presents like this. So there's my little heart with the sweet just sitting in there. And this fits a Lindor truffle as well, if you prefer those to Ferrero Rocher. So that's that. For the flower on top of mine, what I've done is, again, I've used this punch, and I've used the top bit of this heart. So all I did was punch out 3 of those. So 1, 2 3, plus bits, of course. Get rid of those. And you can make a little heart really quite nicely simply by sticking these together, because they form a little flower like that. So I'm just going to stick these together just with a little bit of glue on the bottom. So the 6 petals, so you want to go roughly thirds. Perhaps it's easier if I show you like that. So I've got my 6 petals like that, and then I've just used a little die cut circle, or a little punch if you've got one, just to cut out a little gold circle centre. And I actually put some sticky backing on this to make it easier, but obviously you could just stick it with glue if you wanted. And that just goes in the middle. And then I can just very gently ease the petals up around it to give it a little bit of shape. And there's our little flower. So I do like to make the most of, ooh, that slid a little bit. Let me just push it in a bit. There we go. I do like to make use of all of these things, and if I can make flowers out of punched hearts, why not? You can actually make a flower out of this one, but you need about 5 to have enough petals to make the flower nicely. So it just remains for me, and I'm going to match the colour on the paper here, which is balmy blue, to stamp my Happy Valentine's Day, which is from, as I say, the Country Bouquet set. I've got some lovely sentiments. Happy Valentine's Day, just wanted to say for you, I love you with love, love that we are friends. Could use any of those, but I'm just going to use again the Happy Valentine's Day, mainly because it's already out on the stamp. And that seems good enough, a good enough way to do that, good enough reason to do that. So I'll stamp it about there. Happy Valentine's Day, there we go. Put my ink pad away before I lean in it, which is another of my favourite tricks. And then I'm simply going to miter the end a little bit, make a little flag. Normally I'd measure that a bit more carefully, but you get the idea. And then I can simply glue it behind my flower. I like to curve my banners just by running my scissors underneath, and I can curve those both ways. This is scrap card, you can see I've used it before, but it just gives it a little bit of a curve, and then I can put a little more Tombow on that and stick it on top of my flower. My flower? My heart. Flower on a heart. There we go. Just bring you around a little bit. That's better. So you're roughly straight round the heart, not that it matters. And there we have another little present for husband for Valentine's Day. So he's going to have a lot of paper flowers and hearts, just to bring out all his whole pack of Ferrero Rocher, which is much more exciting, I think, than just presenting him with a box. So I hope you have a little go at this. I love these flowers, so thank you very much to the demonstrators who gave me the ideas for these. As I say, I think it was Jeannie Stark and Jean Dunn, so thank you to them. And I will be back again next week with another little project. So if you enjoyed it, please do subscribe, tell your friends, sign up to my email list so you get all the details of when I'm doing the lives. If you want to join me live on Facebook, I'd love to have you join me. The details are all sent out each week in my weekly newsletter. If you sign up for my email at craftycarolscards.co.uk, then you will get all of that news. So thank you for joining me today, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now.